The signal that should not exist. Part 1 of 4. The fog came in off the Atlantic the same night the fishing fleet came home without its men. Marcus Vail heard about it the way everyone in Harrow Point heard about things. Not from the news, not from the harbor authority, but from the silence that moved through the town like a held breath. 8 boats, no crew, not a single body, the nets were still wet. Marcus had grown up in Harrow Point, a town of 1,100 people wedged between a granite cliff and a gray sea on the northern Maine coast. He had left at 18 to study aviation, stayed gone for 15 years, and returned 3 months ago when his mother got sick. Now she was buried in the churchyard above the harbor, and Marcus was still here, commuting 40 minutes each way to the regional air traffic control tower at Dunmore Field, because the lease on his childhood home was cheaper than anywhere else. He was on the overnight shift when the first transmission came through. The clock on the control room wall read 2:47 in the morning. The radar screen showed 2 regional turboprops, 1 cargo flight, and nothing unusual in any sector. Then the radio crackled. The voice was calm. Mail measured. It said, "Dunmore approach, this is Cascade Air 447 requesting vectors for final runway 27. Marcus's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Cascade Air 447, he knew that number. He had worked this tower 3 years ago as a temp replacement during a staffing shortage. He had been in this exact chair the night Cascade 447 made its final approach. He had guided it in himself. The plane had landed, taxi to Gate 3. And then the airline had retired the flight number the following month after Cascade Air restructured and canceled the northern Maine route entirely. Flight number 447 had not existed for 3 years. He pressed transmit. Unidentified aircraft using Cascade callsign 447, please identify. You are not showing on radar. Static. Then the voice again, the same calm, unhurried tone. Dunmore approach, Cascade 447. We are on final. Passengers are getting restless. Can you confirm the runway is clear? Marcus looked at the radar. Nothing. He checked the secondary surveillance. Nothing. He cross-referenced the ATIS broadcast and the NOTAMs. There was no aircraft in his airspace matching that call sign or that position. His supervisor, Delmar, was asleep in the break room. Marcus did not wake him. He did not know why. Some instinct, the same instinct that had made him very good at his job for 18 years, told him to listen first. 447, confirm your position and aircraft type, he said. The voice said, "We're right where we've always been, Marcus." The use of his name hit him like cold water. He had not identified himself. He never identified himself. Controllers use facility names, not personal names. He stood up from the chair slowly, the headset still on his ears, and looked out through the dark glass of the tower cab toward the runway. The taxiway lights were on. The approach lights strobed gently in the fog. Something was moving on the taxiway. Something slow and wrong and wet. He was still staring at it when the intercom on his desk buzzed. Delmar's voice, half asleep. "Hey, Vail. You got a courier package down at the security desk. Guy says it's urgent. Says it's from an estate attorney." Marcus looked back at the window. Whatever had been moving on the taxiway was gone. The fog had swallowed the entire approach end of the runway. The radio was silent. He pulled the headset off slowly and set it down on the desk. The envelope downstairs was cream-colored, heavy stock, sealed with dark wax pressed into the shape of a compass rose. His full name was written on the front in handwriting he recognized immediately, his mother's handwriting. The attorney, a narrow man in a black coat who would not meet Marcus's eyes, slid a clipboard across the security desk without speaking. Marcus signed. He opened the envelope right there under the fluorescent light of the security lobby. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded in thirds with 2 lines printed at the top. You have inherited the house at 4 Shoal Lane and everything beneath it. You must agree to the conditions before the tide comes in on the 3rd night. Below that, in smaller type, were the conditions. Marcus read the first 3 and stopped breathing. He read them again. He looked up at the attorney, who was already walking toward the exit door, coat pulled tight. "Wet," Marcus said. "Who prepared this document?" The attorney stopped with his hand on the door. He turned his head just enough to show his profile. "Your mother signed it 22 years ago, the man said. "The same week the fleet went out the first time." The door swung shut. Marcus stood alone under the buzzing light, holding a document that told him his mother had known. Had always known. What lived beneath the house he grew up in. And what the fishing fleet had been feeding it. The radio on the security desk crackled once, and the voice from Flight 447 whispered, "She kept her end of the bargain, Marcus. Now it's your turn." That's it for Part 1. Follow Untold Lores for Part 2. Like and subscribe for daily stories.